I regularly get hate mail. I got one the other day that said, you're a fucking educated Nazi, and I hope you hang by the neck until you're dead. So, I mean, I get this kind of stuff all the time.
William Happer, a mild-mannered physics professor at Princeton University, doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would inspire hate mail. But Dr. Happer is a climate skeptic. That is, he doesn't believe the scary warnings about climate change, what used to be known as global warming.
This is propaganda. This is really a religious cult, and it's complete falsehood to say that it's science. Oxygen.
Happer is most interested in the misinformation about carbon dioxide, CO2. A century ago, out of every 10,000 molecules in the atmosphere, 3 were CO2. Now there are 4 molecules per 10,000, or 400 parts per million. That's actually low by geological standards and less than optimum for plant life. Greenhouses typically pump in CO2 at up to 1,000 parts per million.
Plants really do much better with more CO2, and if you look at current agricultural production, probably about 15% of the increase over the last 100 years is from more CO2. If I were king, I would look carefully and try to determine what would be an optimal CO2 level. I know it's more than 400. I don't know whether it's 1,000 or 1,500, but I would try to honestly look at the benefits of more CO2 along with any possible downsides.
The biggest possible downside is warming. Climate alarmists have been telling us that more CO2 is a direct cause of higher global temperatures. But while CO2 concentrations have risen gradually, passing the 400 parts per million mark, global temperatures have been steady for the past 17 years. The models have been consistently and grossly wrong.
Well, they've been terrible because they all predicted steadily rising temperatures, about 0.3 of a degree typically, centigrade. And the rise since 1998 or so has been 0. So it couldn't be worse.
Dr. Happer stresses that he wants a clean environment and that genuine pollution, such as that from coal-fired plants in China and India, has to be curbed.
That's real pollution, and that should not be permitted. But that's not CO2. You can't even see CO2. There's this intentional effort to conflate CO2, which is benign and in fact beneficial, with real pollutants.
William Happer looks forward to a day when renewables are truly viable. That is a long way off. Until then, oil and natural gas and clean coal provide humanity with abundant and cheap energy, enabling poor people to escape poverty. CO2 will continue to slowly rise, but that will mean more food, less starvation.
So we'll have very modest warming, we'll have much greater agricultural production. It's all good, and in addition to all of that, we benefit while they last from using fossil fuels, which have lifted humanity out of abject poverty and misery in the last few centuries. So what's bad about that?